The world of children's books continued to evolve, feeding off and informing social change. A new generation of stories connected for the first time the gritty social realism of books aimed at girls with a boyish love of adventure. Robert Muchamore's CHERUB series took an orphan, a boarding school and non-stop adventure, but set it against a backdrop of council houses and petty criminality. The central character, James Adams, was no Chelsea boy slumming it in a comprehensive like Alex Rider. He was a fully paid-up member of the Asbo generation.
James lives with his mum, who's an overweight lady with lots of health problems. She also runs a big shoplifting racket. And then we've got James's little sister Lauren, who is, in some ways, she's his archetypal cute little sister, but she's also a big thorn in his side and creates lots of problems for him.
Trying to make sense of this world of dysfunctional domesticity is a very modern boy.
James is a kind of a hero character, but I tried to make him a hero character that would appeal to a 13-year-old boy, not a hero who would appeal to a 13-year-old boy's mum.
The books had a strong sense of place. They were based in the London streets and council estates where Muchamore grew up.
James's environment is this very sort of archetypal kind of working class council flat style environment. So I wanted everything in it to be kind of gritty and as realistic as possible. To children and to young adults, there's a sort of a perverse glamour to this kind of slightly rough existence and to vandalism and to being allowed to stay out late. Because lots of kids actually lead very sheltered lives and they're shepherded around by their mums and dads. And a lot of those kids are the kind of kids who read my book. So actually the life of someone like James, who lives in quite a rough area and has a much greater degree of freedom than what they do, is actually quite glamorous in a perverse kind of way.
It's not all clean for the main character. He gets like in scrapes that you just think, oh, there goes that character.
Yeah, but I thought James, he was a bit dodgy. I mean, sometimes he wasn't a very likeable character in the books.
I like how Robert Muchamore, he makes the story like it's real life. So when you read it, it's not like some sort of made-up fantasy. You actually think it's real.
That's quite compelling about it. I mean, he's just a kid who's going towards trail of washout, drops out of school quite soon. He's in big trouble for various reasons, and it's quite compelling how you see how he pulls his life together a bit and does great things in the book.
James's mother dies and he's thrown into an orphanage. His luck begins to change when he's picked up by the top-secret CHERUB organisation. CHERUB trains children in the art of espionage. Their youth allows them to venture where angels and highly trained adult operatives fear to tread.
Basically, CHERUB is it's an institution somewhere in the British countryside. We never quite reveal where it is. It has about 260 pupils and about the same number of staff. Basically, when you become a CHERUB, you turn 10 and you train as a CHERUB agent, which basically means you can work undercover as a spy after you go on this kind of gruelling 100-day training programme. I think I would have been absolutely hopeless because I was a complete wimp. I'm terrible at football, I've got no coordination, so I would have been the worst CHERUB in the history of the world. I think I would have got kicked out on day one.
CHERUB demands elite academic and physical prowess. It's a streetwise Hogwarts by another name. Muchamore also borrows another key feature of the Harry Potter books.
And one of the things that I took probably from J.K. Rowling as much as anything else was that in her books there's just this really strong basis of friendship between the central characters. And as I was writing, I just really started to, I really started to think that it would be really nice just to have this kind of core group of strong characters and to have them being really realistic.
Girls aren't bit players here. They're equal and often superior partners in adventure.
I think, yeah, at one point the main character is quite like, oh, you can't do it, to his best friend called Kerry, who's a girl, and Kerry really, really beats him up in Kung Fu. It's just karate, I mean, it's funny.
The CHERUB spies, unlike their fictional counterparts, aren't too busy to fall in love.
The fan mails don't ask what's going to happen in the next book, what the next mission's going to be. The books always ask questions like, is Shaquille going to get a mission? Is James going to get off with Kerry again? Is he going to break up? Is he going to cheat on her again? And it's characters that really get kids into books and keep them going.
The CHERUB series goes one step further in redefining the moral landscape of adventure. The heroes are flawed and the villains are sometimes likeable characters.
The way that CHERUB works is that the kids have to go undercover, and they form just like real undercover policemen or real undercover investigators. They actually get quite close. They basically have to live with the people who are the bad guys. So in CHERUB books they actually make friends, and sometimes the bad guys on the face, he might be a drug dealer, but he might also be quite a nice person who treats kids really nicely and mucks around with his son in the swimming pool and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, when cherubs come to the end of their mission, sometimes they find that they actually quite like the bad guys.
On TV, you knew who the baddies were, and they got what they deserved at the end of the show. Now James realised baddies were ordinary people. They told jokes, made you cups of coffee, went to the toilet, and had families who loved them.
Muchamore's CHERUB series has given traditional boys' literature another makeover. Social reality, moral ambiguity, and teenage sexuality are as important as the action itself. Another modern and revolutionary marketing tool helped sell a heady 100,000 copies of the first book, The Recruit. With low advertising budgets, the internet was vital in spreading the message.
What the website does is it basically turbocharges word of mouth, because you'll get kids who'll just read the book and will tell their friends about it. But if they know they can go on a website and they can maybe send an email to the author, or go on a forum and talk about it with their friends, it just makes them that much more interested in the book, and it just gives them a sense that they're involved a little bit, and gives them I suppose a greater degree of loyalty to it. And you really actually learn what the kids do and don't like in your books. If you make a clanger, they're quite ruthless about telling you what you've done wrong, and it's just a really good feedback system. I think last month the website had about 35,000 unique visitors, so it's about 1,000 people a day who are actually just clicking on and logging on the website, so it's quite an impressive number, and it grows all the time. I mean, I treat it very seriously. I suppose that I've probably put more work into the website than into any one of the individual books in the series. I think the last time we counted it had about 373 pages of content, so that's actually more pages of content than any of the actual books themselves.
The web was also, extraordinarily, influencing the creative process itself by helping writers keep tabs on the exponentially changing world of the teenager.
One thing about modern children is that they are changing at a phenomenal rate. Their interests and their language and their fashion changes almost hourly, it sometimes seems. And a word that might be cool or wicked now will sound ridiculous, just as those two words did coming out of my mouth, in a few months' time.
Good example of the one that I always get picked up on is I always use the word dude, and I must have had like about 30 or 40 emails from kids saying no one uses the word dude anymore, you know, don't do that. And I think by the time we get to about book 8, I've almost completely cut out the word dude because I've become incredibly self-conscious about it.
Wicked.